Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. It's that wonderful time of year when booktubers and bookish people come together and celebrate reading and, prioritize reading above pretty much everything else for an entire week. It's amazing. I'm talking about, of course, the annual BookTubeAthon. I started my channel last year, about 3 months before the BookTubeAthon, so everything was new for me then, and I just had this amazing time getting to know so many booktubers and bookish people. And yeah, it was the first readathon I ever participated in, and it was just so special. And I just don't think there are any readathons quite like the BookTubeAthon, so I'm super excited to participate in year 2 for me. So today I'm gonna talk about my reading challenges for the week, and since I am a mood reader, it's probably no surprise to you that I have selected many, many books that I don't plan to finish. Basically, I've come up with like 2 to 4 or maybe even 5 possible books for each challenge because I clearly have a fear of commitment, and we're not gonna dig into that right now because no, let's not. But really, it's just too hard for me to narrow it down. I know that's ridiculous, but I don't know what I'm gonna wanna pick up during the week of the BookTubeAthon. So I have several selections. Maybe you guys can help me narrow it down. Tentatively, I'm going to read these books, and one of the challenges every year, just to kind of skip ahead a little bit, one of the challenges every year is to read 7 books in 7 days, which I pretty much never aim for that. Like, that's just not a goal of mine. I read about a book a week normally, so reading even 3 books a week is like a huge victory for me, so I'm not really going for 7 books. But all that to say, I have clearly more than 7 books here. So just kind of like trying to help myself manage those expectations here. The first challenge is to read a book with a person on the cover. And for this one, I really, really want to get to When Dimple Met Rishi. This book could probably check off every challenge for the BookTubeAthon, and I plan to kind of like combine them a little bit since I don't plan on reading 7 books. But anyway, I ordered it on Book Depository and it hasn't come yet. I'm hoping it'll come by tomorrow or early next week. But that's the goal. If I get it in time, I'm gonna wanna read that. I'm sure you've probably heard of When Dimple Met Rishi because it's super hyped right now, but basically it's a YA contemporary love story about these 2 Indian American teens. Dimple is just kind of ready to have a break from her family by going to this summer camp for aspiring web developers. And from what I understand, her mom is kind of like all about helping her get ready to meet her perfect, ideal Indian husband. And Dimple's just not about that right now. Rishi, on the other hand, is a hopeless romantic, and he decides to go to the same summer camp to meet who his parents have claimed will be his future wife. He thinks he's going to woo her, and he's all about the arranged marriage. And so clearly, they're probably going to meet and have to learn a lot about each other. I'm thinking it's probably going to be like an opposites attract kind of story, which I love. Like so many other YA readers, I've never read anything quite like this, so I'm interested to see what it's all about. If I don't get to When Dimple Met Rishi, or I decide to use that for a separate challenge entirely, I'm planning to get to Finding Audrey by Sophie Kinsella, which is, I'm hoping, gonna be a pretty quick read because she seems like, I don't know, it seems like you can breeze through her books pretty easily. This has been on my list forever, and I wanna get to it, although I know that the hype of When Dimple Met Rishi is probably going to get to me. I really wanna see what that one's all about, but this one's in the running too, so we'll see. But yeah, person on the cover. The second challenge is to read a hyped book. And guys, I'm not even gonna lie, I buy a lot of hyped books, okay? I have no shame about it. I get really excited when I hear people talking about books they loved. And so I've accumulated quite a lot of hyped books. For this one, I really wanna get to Down Among the Sticks and Bones by Seanan McGuire. This is the second book in the Wayward Children series. The first one was Every Heart a Doorway. I absolutely loved it. It was so unlike anything I'd ever read. Just the premise was so unique, and it was short. And this one's really short too, so it's a great readathon pick in my opinion. It's about 180 some pages. So I'm really excited about this. I also plan to get this on audio because Seanan McGuire narrates it herself, and it's only about 4 hours long. So I may Also, listen slash read, probably for another challenge, which I'll get to in a second. If I'm not feeling that one for the Read a Hyped Book challenge, then I might get to Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. This is another book cover that you probably recognize if you are familiar with BookTube at all. It's a pretty hyped series, I think. And again, I talk about this a little bit in my library book haul. And I don't know a whole lot about it except that it's kind of like your classic YA, maybe has a little bit of overused tropes, you know, not ideal, but an addictive story that's just really fun. And for a readathon, you really need a book that you just can't put down. The words are kind of small, so I may decide to go with an even shorter book, because there's no shame in getting a small book for a readathon, especially when you're a slow reader. So yeah, I can also potentially read When Dimple Met Rishi for this challenge as well. So I've kind of got that in the back of my mind in case I don't read as much as I would like to. I also have Blue Lily, Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater, which is the fourth, I think? No, third? Yeah, the third book in the Raven Cycle series. Which I am loving at the moment, and I really just picked this one because I want to read this book next. I mean, it's also hyped, so it fits the category. I don't know if I'm going to want to scrunch it into a readathon, though. I may want to take my time with it. So, undecided on this one. The third challenge is to read a book in one day, and for this one, I'm probably going to go with When Dimple Met Rishi or Down Among the Sticks and Bones, but in case I'm not feeling that, or I want to read more, I've always got The Last Battle by C.S. Lewis, which is the last book in the Chronicles of Narnia series. It's book number 7. I'm almost there. I've been reading it forever. And these don't take me long at all. I mean, it's a children's book and it's like 200 pages, so I could definitely read this in a day. The fourth challenge is to read about a character different from you. And for this one, I have quite a few choices as well. I have When Dimple Met Rishi, obviously, because they're Indian Americans, and yeah, I've just never read anything about their culture or arranged marriages, or yeah, I think it would be interesting. I also have Sela by Toni Morrison, and I've never read anything by Toni Morrison, and it's a pretty short book, so this would be a great choice as well. And I think it's one of the only adult books that I've picked for this readathon, so I may be feeling a change. I don't know a lot about this one. It actually came in one of my quarterly boxes. I think it was for Britt Bennett's The Mothers. She included this in her box as a source of inspiration for her writing The Mothers, and I loved that book so much. But I'm just gonna read this little blurb on the back because it's really short. It says, 2 girls who grow up to become women, 2 friends who become something worse than enemies. In this brilliantly imagined novel, Nobel Prize laureate Toni Morrison tells the story of Nell Wright and Sela Peace, who meet as children in the small town of Medallion, Ohio. Their devotion is fierce enough to withstand bullies and the burden of a dreadful secret. It endures even after Nell has grown up to be a pillar of the Black community and Sela has become a parish. But their friendship ends in an unforgivable betrayal. It does, or does it end? Terrifying, comic, ribald, and tragic. Sela is a work that overflows with life. So yeah, I've just heard that her writing is just enchanting and powerful, and I'm looking forward to it. It's short. I think it could be a good pick for this category. If I'm not feeling those 2 books for this challenge, I could always pick up Americana, which I've been dying to pick up for a while now. It's a little bit chunkier though, so I might be intimidated by that. You guys have heard me talk about this a lot. And then I also have Walk 2 Moons by Sharon Creech, which is a middle grade novel. And it actually, I think it's middle grade. It might be technically a little bit younger. But it was the winner of the 1995 John Newbery Medal Award. And so it takes place in Ohio, and the story follows a 13-year-old girl named Sal, and she's part Native American. And so there's a lot of cultural identity and personal identity. It's a coming of age story. That's really all I know about it, except that it's kind of a classic. Although I haven't really seen this a lot in the BookTube world. If you've read this book, let me know. When I got it at a library book sale months and months ago, I think I remember a lot of comments from some of you saying that you loved this book. So if I need to prioritize this one in my readathon, let me know, because I do think it would be a good one for the BookTubeAthon. The next challenge is to finish a book completely outdoors, and I love how everyone is so sassy about this challenge because everyone's like, it's too hot to read outside. I actually like reading outside on my front porch pretty often. I do. I'm in North Carolina, so it gets pretty hot, but I'm just a weirdo and I'm like never warm. So I think I've been, because I lived in Ohio. Apparently I'm confusing my story with Sal's here. I lived in Orlando for 2 years and Houston for a year. So maybe I'm just used to the hot weather. But anyway, for this challenge, I'm hoping to read When Dimple Met Rishi, Down Among the Sticks and Bones, or the 7th book in the Chronicles of Narnia series. One of those 3 will count for this challenge as well, because I just know I'm not gonna read all of these books, you know, I'm thinking ahead. The 6th challenge is to read a book because of the cover. And for this one, I have a lot because I'm definitely a sucker for a good cover. But I really like the idea of picking, where is it? Blue Lily Blue for this one. Again, not so sure it's going to be the best readathon book because I like to go through my Raven cycle books slowly. But I mean, this cover is so beautiful, so beautiful. Also, I got V.E. Schwab's A Darker Shade of Magic recently from the library. I've been wanting to read this forever, which could also count as person on the cover, hyped book, probably a few more. It's not super short, but I've heard it's amazing. So this is in the running for this particular challenge as well. Honestly, so many of the books I read are beautiful. So, I mean, even if I only read When Dimple Met Rishi and Down Among the Sticks and Bones for this week, I could probably knock out all of the challenges. The 7th and final challenge, as I mentioned, was to read a book, or read 7 books in 7 days. And that's just not, I'm not gonna even try on that challenge. I think if I were to read all of these options, let's see, how many would it be? Just for kicks. We've got 10 books here, so I mean, that's not gonna happen. But anyway, yes, that's my tentative TBR for the BookTubeAthon. Let me know down below if you're planning on participating. I'm really excited about it, like I said. I'm planning to vlog, hopefully. And yeah, I'm also going to be hosting Twitter sprints on the BookTubeAthon Twitter page, and I think that's happening Tuesday. I wanna say 5 p.m. EST, but I'm not sure if that's the right day, so you'll have to check probably the week of. She'll have, Ariel Bissett will have a Twitter hosting schedule or something like that. But anyway, I'd love for you to join me and have a little reading sprint with me. I haven't talked about what the readathon really is. I'm sure you've kind of gathered from this, but I mean, it's a readathon that lasts 7 days and you read all the books and complete all the challenges. And then there's also BookTube video challenges for every day too. And I'm probably not going to be participating in those just because I like to vlog during readathons, but I love watching everybody's challenges, so I'm excited about that. All right, that's all I've got. If you're reading any of the books that I just mentioned, leave a comment down below. And if I had like 4 books for one challenge and you're like, Molly, you have to read this book over the others, like you just have to, leave a comment and let me know why. Because clearly I need help. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on social media, all the things, and I will see you soon.